My name's Dave Pohl, and I want to welcome you to Portland Film Beat. My guests tonight are Amber Bariaktari and Edward Martin III. Now, Amber is a special effects supervisor at Cascadia Films, Cascadia Creature Films. She is also a writer and a director. Now, Edward Martin is the owner of Hellbender Media. He made a film called Flesh in My Flesh, which we had on here a little while ago. It did really well. It's a great film. And he's also a writer, a director, and a producer. Amber, you studied film writing at Portland State.
I did.
How many film screenplays have you written?
Oh, about 10.
Is that feature-length ones? Yeah.
Feature lengths, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And okay, anyway, tell us again.
Yes.
How did you guys meet?
Well, we met on the set of Flesh on My Flesh. We had been introduced by a mutual friend, and we were at a scene we were about to shoot, and we needed something that was particularly more gory than we were really prepared to do. Not that we weren't afraid of doing, but we just didn't quite feel like we had the material to do it.
Okay.
And this wee tiny little Irish person steps in and says, "Give me half an hour. What do you got?"
And
we had like coffee
And that was
filters.
you.
coat hangers and all these different things, and I MacGyvered it together.
So did you study that kind of special effects, or you just training on set and figured it out and like it?
I started teaching myself when I was about literally 7 years old, special effects. And
Oh,
then
really?
my parents bought all the magazines for me and subscribed me to all the magazines, and I was teaching myself. That's what I would do
Do you
every
like
day.
the scars and the bruises and all that
Yes,
too?
yeah,
Really?
and making the creature bodies and the different things. Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What did you tell
Okay,
them the
so
first set
Amber-
you were on?
Oh, so my dad produced Short Circuit with a man named Gary Foster, who did Sleepless in Seattle and
Oh, really?
Daredevil. And so,
Oh, so you've been around film your whole life,
I
really?
have, but I literally say that I was born, I popped out like wanting to be a filmmaker. I know that I did because I was trying at like 4 years old to do this stuff. And my dad, and then it kind of speed up to when Short Circuit was being filmed, which was actually filmed here in Oregon. My dad took me out on that set, and I kind of was raised with Gary Foster. I would go to their parties and hang out with him and different things like that. And I got to be on set of Short Circuit when they were filming that scene, different scenes. There was 15 Johnny Fives sitting out there in
really?
the grass, all the robots, and I was watching them do the
I didn't know that was filmed in Portland,
it was
Oregon.
filmed, yeah, a lot of it was filmed in Portland, especially, what's that old road called? Germantown Road.
Germantown Road, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really? I didn't
All of
know.
that.
I didn't know that.
And I was out there, and the most boring scene ever was being filmed. They were having to brake and hit their mark of the van, and I was like, that's what I want to do
Okay,
with
good.
my life. So
So you also wrote Bone Cold, and Edward, you are going to direct it, is that right?
That's the current plan so far, yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about the premise of Bone Cold?
I think he tells it better. I do.
Okay,
you?
Edward, go ahead. You can tell us.
It's a
Edward, you
feature
tell us.
film. Yeah, he tells it better.
It's a mystery, and basically it's sort of a supernatural mystery where a woman wakes up in the middle of the woods, has no idea who she is, where she is, what she's doing, and through the course of the movie, she discovers who she is and why she's there, and that's the premise of the movie.
It's a thriller. It's a creeper.
It's a creeper.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you? So you write a lot of creeper films.
I do. I write just mean endings. Yes.
Okay. Where do you come up with all these ideas then?
I don't. Just all. I don't know.
It's a question I've asked her before too.
Well, I've been told that I get really merciless in my endings, and yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You enjoy them.
I think because of my love for people like Tarantino and Rodriguez,
Okay.
were really my first teachers, and I was watching them at a very young age, and I just that the films I'm drawn to are the ones like Fight Club and
Okay. Yeah.
I know.
Fight Club
I
is
know
great.
the wee little Irish thing is, yeah, Fight Club is one of my absolute favorite
Right,
films of all time.
Okay.
So.
Briefly describe to us what you think the appeal the film will have for audiences.
For Bone Cold,
Yeah.
it's one of the most unique scripts I've ever seen.
I figure Bone Cold is probably going to attract the same sort of people who enjoy Let the Right One In or Under the Skin, movies that are definitely, they take more time in their storytelling.
Okay.
It's not a running around, shooting guns in the air kind of movie.
Sometimes movies are fast moving nowadays. I've watched a few old
Sure.
movies and they last 2.5 hours because scenes take 10 minutes sometimes.
Yeah, and so we're trying to
Yeah.
kind of
Okay,
tip
good.
into that world a little bit, explore a little more storytelling.
All right. So Edward, you wrote a feature that you're going to be working on called Emergent Property.
Yes.
Okay, can we talk about that?
We
Gonna
can,
tell us,
absolutely.
can you tell us the premise of that one?
Emergent Property is about a high schooler who is investigating his great-grandfather as sort of a family, not a family mystery, but a family tale. That his great-grandfather, who was a traveling clown performer,
Okay.
but it turns out that it wasn't. And as the movie unfolds, he discovers that his grandfather was in fact not a traveling clown or an entertainer, but a scientist who was hunting down his own private conspiracy theory and may have found it.
Oh, really?
And so what starts out to be this sort of kind of school project for him unrolls and becomes this conspiracy theory adventure, and eventually has repercussions all the way through to the present day in his own family and his own life.
Oh, really?
That's the hope, anyway.
And
mean,
so,
it's-
Yeah.
do you think it'll appeal to the same audience as?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
No, it's a very different kind of audience. I mean, I'm looking at conspiracy theories in general, and in a way, I'm sort of addressing this as a meta-conspiracy theory, a conspiracy theory that explains other conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Because if I can't deconstruct while I'm writing, what's the bother?
Right. Okay.
So that's what I'm trying for. So I'm hoping people who enjoy conspiracy theory movies will enjoy it.
All right.
And also people who enjoy discovering that their great-grandparents were involved in a complex conspiracy to take over the world.
Yeah.
We're going to talk now about The Dead, which is actually a film that you finished, and you both wrote it together. Is that right? Did one of you have the idea? Did you come up with the idea together? But you wrote it together. Is
It's a
that
funny
right?
story. We were driving to Seattle to meet our cinematographer Ryan, and and we were just I
It started out
offhandedly said something, and we were joking about making a comedy film called The Dead. No, really, The Dead, and The Dead or something. And by the time we made it to lunch or breakfast with Ryan, it turned into this very serious
Yeah.
film.
Okay. And actually, it was a long script, right?
It is.
How many pages?
It's like
230 or
Yeah,
some
it's-
crazy
Right.
amount.
And you shot that in how long? That was pretty impressive.
The entire feature film was shot in 14 hours in one day.
It probably took you longer to do everything. Well, it always does take longer in post, but
It happened. Okay, so our editor Ryan, the cinematographer, was also the editor, and he did the quick assembly right away. But it's taken us a couple of months to fine tune a lot of the bits.
all right.
But yeah, the reason we were able to get away with doing it in 14 hours is that we designed a story that you could shoot very quickly.
Right. And so the camera didn't move a lot or anything like that.
That's correct.
That helps.
There's camera movement near the beginning, there's camera movement near the end, and then in the middle, the premise of the movie being.
Well, we're going to watch the trailer of
Oh,
it in
yeah,
a few
okay.
minutes. So anyway, tell us the premise again.
The premise is that a person's story isn't really complete until you hear how they affected all the people around them.
Okay.
So we have this.
It's kind of like The Wonderful Life was like that, but this is a little eerier than The
bit.
Wonderful Life because some of the people who are affected weren't affected in a good way. Can we
Somewhere-
presume that?
So yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's with all lives. Every life you touch it in different ways.
Right. Good ways and bad. Everybody, yeah. I don't know what even genre would you call it.
this one is an
Experimental.
experimental,
Experimental. Okay.
I think if you-
almost art film. It's just very it's
very
another
unusual.
unusual one. We seem to
yeah.
be going down the unusual road. Bone Cold is another very unusual one.
Okay. So how long is the finished film?
About 90 minutes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you cut 200 and some pages down to 90 minutes. That's good.
And it's,
Well, yes. Okay. So the reason that the script itself, the whole script is so big, is because each person had their own individual script.
Right. Oh, right.
So, and most of the time, people didn't see other people's scripts. So they actually
No,
had
they
no
didn't.
idea how they interacted with each other. So they came up, and so each person comes into the casket, and they'll say their piece, and they maybe have anywhere from 3 to 12 pieces. Then they'll leave, they'll come back and do their second piece, and they'll come back and do their third piece. And then we dismissed them. It's like, have a great night, thank you for coming by. And then the next person will come and do their thing. But no one other than myself and Amber knew how all the pieces fit together.
Oh, and you didn't tell him either.
Well, it wasn't that we deliberately held it from him. We were just too busy to give everybody the full picture.
Right.
It was just hard
Well,
enough for us to.
it was somewhat like 63 actors that we
Okay, I
got
was just
through
going to ask
there.
how many actors you're going to say. 63?
Somewhere around 63 came through in 14 hours.
And, okay, so the same person who shot it also edited it, and what was his name again?
Ryan K. Johnson.
Okay, so there wasn't any main actor.
There was no main actor, but there were a number of actors who played more significant roles, such as the deceased person's his ex-spouse, played by Brandy Solfay, who I think has been on your show before.
No, she hasn't, but I was actually on a film set with her a few weeks ago.
We'll have to get her on.
Right.
Yeah, because
She was an assistant director on The Stairs, which I'm sure Hakeem will be on here. We can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, but we had, family members, they came back often. And then he also had college friends, and they had their own story going on, and so they would come back, and he was part of a group of comics earlier in his life, and so some of the comics were there, and so they would have their own sort of irreverent take on this stuff.
Oh, so did you have a sound person or sound design? Because there's some wild music in that one teaser. We might be seeing it, but
that's not the official. Well, so that's the music in the teaser, but that's not going to be. We have a composer who's going to be composing music for us.
Right. Okay.
So that'll be
funeral music.
We're not entirely sure yet.
Okay.
He's asked to watch it first.
Okay, so if there was 63 actors and it was 90 minutes, so each one of them talked like for a minute and a half?
Give or take a bit.
Something like that? And then some were a little longer and some shorter.
Some were longer, some were shorter. Some came on, and their whole bit was even how they entered the scene, how they acted, did their thing, and how they left. So they tended to get, there's some more screen time, and other people, because of the sort of the form of the gag, how they were doing. Because I say gag meaning not necessarily comedy, because some of the gags are serious gags, and some of them are comedic. But sometimes their punchlines are so fast that we're pretty much like cut right in and right back out.
Okay.
And Amber's seen the movie in the latest cut, and it really comes to a certain point in time where people are flashing by so fast that.
Okay, so. Did you rehearse with as a director? Did you work with the actors at all, or just
several of them? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you had
for up to
14 hours. I'm really impressed.
We were too, because we didn't expect to. Well,
it was an interesting.
Did you shoot it at a funeral home?
No, we shot it in our living room. In fact, so the day before we shot it, we had a roofer coming in to give us a quote on the roof, and we were setting up this casket and setting up these curtains, and this poor guy came in cold. He didn't know what we were doing.
And there's a casket in your living room.
Yes, and people are coming in the kitchen. It's like, should we do this with blue curtains? Should we do this with red curtains?
Yeah,
how should we dress? And we're being very flip about it. It's like, I don't care. Whatever color works. And they're like, well, so-and-so's going to show up.
You should have said that's where I sleep or something. Really have fun with them. Maybe there was 2 of them there. You could have really had fun with that.
But the poor guy kind of lost it after a while, and you could tell he was getting more nervous. And finally, he just said, "I'm sorry, is this a bad time for the family?" And then I realized, no, we're making a movie. You're off the hook.
Okay, right. All right. Were there any major setbacks getting the film made?
No, we just nailed it. Yeah.
Wow, that's
pretty
impressive, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so Amber, why don't we take the moment right now and watch the trailer for The Dead?
Sure,
okay.
yeah.
We're going to watch the trailer, and we'll be right back.
You should see all those weasels trying to go after your accounts.
This is job security for you, wasn't it?
I wish more people would get that. Would understand to just do things that help,
The world is pain, and you've stepped off it and are in a better place. I think. Probably.
Is there a whole industry for clothes for dead people?
There's probably a merit badge in getting through to a pastor, huh?
But I swear, I'm gonna figure out what you were gonna do with all those rubber balls.
I should be in there, and you should be out here with your family and your friends. I'm just one last man, one last grandfather.
Take no, modify the shields. eat them all alive.
And thank you. Thank you, love.
Okay, so I get, you know, there was just a little pieces there, but it
Yeah.
bounced around. It was really fun.
They would come back and we would learn more about the different people because of who they talked to off screen.
Oh,
That's
really?
one of our
Okay.
favorite things.
Yeah, that even though a person would come back and you have not seen them and another person together, but you can tell when they came back, each one of them said, "Oh, hey, I met this other person.
Yeah.
And I've been having these interactions with them." There was.
Well, it's true. You know, when you go to a funeral and stuff like that, you're just like, oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and this
and
is a
then
wake, so it's hours and hours. Yeah.
Right.
It's probably one of the most intimate films I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's almost intimately disturbing. It's like you want to listen to it, but at times you also want to kind of distance yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's so strange.
Yeah, I get it.
Really
It's too. It's almost too intimate at times.
Right.
It feels
Well,
like
it seems to me that you touched on a lot of different feelings, so you hit the gambit. You know, this guy loved him, this person hated him, and
Who
here's
he
the reason
helped,
why.
yeah.
And
Who
you were such
remembers
a,
him.
you were so great to me, and you were so awful to me. And so, Amber, you are directing True Love.
Yes.
And that's a claymation? Is that claymation?
It is. It's a claymation. It's
with your sister?
It's a stop motion. Edward wrote it. It's a short story of his that I just fell in love with.
Who's
And
doing the claymation stuff then?
I am along with Jeremy Phelps, who is my special effects artist at Cascadia Creatures. But him and I both do stop motion claymation.
Really?
Yes.
And Noah working on that.
And
with you?
yes, and Noah Hale, who is also doing the armatures and things like that for me.
So,
He does the
how long
metal.
a film is it going to be?
It's about a 10-minute film, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah. So it's a short, but it's a
No, that's
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
right. And how long do you think it's going to take you to get that made?
Oh God, I am not.
Every little
yes,
frame at a
yes,
time.
It's there. It's
and
click
moving
by
it and
click by click.
And claymation too.
Animating water.
Yes. And what?
And you're animating water.
Yes, and I'm animating water. So
I don't even get. I don't.
I know.
How do you animate water?
Yes, it takes a while. Yes.
It'll be very exciting when it's done.
Yeah.
Okay, so how is it different directing animation as opposed to actors?
It's very different. It's all about the crew for this, so it's very intimate with no actors. I will have a narrator, but that will be done in a studio, a sound studio. But this is a very intimate thing between me and my crew.
Okay.
And then each character is like an actor, but we're doing all of the movement. We're doing all of the emotion.
Okay, so what's the premise of this?
The premise of True Love? Do you want to tell it?
You're directing.
The premise of True Love is about a woman who goes out to the beach every day and she has lost her true love. And she walks out and she says, I've lost my true love and I don't know how I'm ever going to get him back. And she finds it closer to home than she thinks.
Wow. Okay, so
it's,
you guys are also talking about getting a TV series together. Can you talk about that?
Is
it 2 series? A little bit, maybe.
Yeah. We're building the pitch, and we'll be talking to some folks about it.
Is it going to be a creeper thing?
It's going to be a fantasy.
Sorry,
It's
I
a
mean,
fantasy.
I shouldn't say it that way.
It's okay.
Because you guys are awesome, but you make these movies that are kind of out there.
He makes the zombie creeper films. I make what would you describe what I make?
We kind of spread across the board
We
because
do,
the dead is very
the
dramatic.
Bone Cold is very dramatic as well, but it's
yeah. So the series is a fantasy adventure.
Okay.
And
this
basically, it's very loosely based on the same material that my first feature film was, The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. And this guy has these dreams, and in his dreams he has this wonderful city that he sees, and so he starts trying to pursue it. And in order to pursue it, he has to go down under into the dreamlands, the sort of the seedy underbelly of the waking world, and track that down.
Mm-hmm. And so, Amber, you're also directing Violin T, is that right?
Yes. So
What's that
that's
about?
a live action, so not a claymation, and that is
What do you mean by live action?
As opposed to my claymation that I'm doing, that's real people.
It's actually got
actors in it. And that's my short about a violinist who, through the telling of her playing, is how would you say, how I know. I'm trying to remember how I said that.
You're the director.
Through the telling of her playing of the last moments of her death.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. So it's a very intense, kind of two worlds of her while she's hallucinating and while she's dying. So there's two different versions going on.
Okay,
and it's
cool.
all through her playing of the music as she's walking through the.
Wow. And so, Edward, what other projects you got going on? I know you've always got your hand in a lot of different irons and a lot of different fires.
Well, we have we're wrapping the last bits of The Dead. It's some sound work and music and this last little tweaks in the edits. After that, there's a couple projects I want to kind of nail down that have sort of gone a little flappy. Some shorts and a couple of these features.
Bone Cold, and these other ones.
And
Bone Cold, probably.
But any one of these, so they're all kind of at the same level. And if any one of them pops their heads up above, that's the one we're going to grab and keep working on. Because I love them all.
Right.
But it's just a matter of, okay, can we get funding for this? Can we get this actor for that? Can we get this working for that? And hey, have we nailed a set for this? And
yeah, but you keep moving forward on I think it's good that you work on more than one project at a time because you're constantly waiting for somebody, an actor or funding or a location.
Yeah, I'll be building the production books and the budgeting and breaking down a script, and he'll be storyboarding.
So you do that too?
Yeah.
That's kind of a producer's
so I'm producing.
job.
I'm producing. I'm producing Bone Cold and the other.
Well, let's go on. You know what? You were in New York for a number of years
about
as a production
7.
assistant? Or
No, I was a first assistant director and a second assistant director in New York.
What was that for?
Some of them just different features.
Okay, and you have some New York directors that are going to be directing some of your films?
Yes, so Jeremiah.
How'd you do that?
I don't know. I worked with one director as his second assistant director, and he bugged me for years to read my scripts. And so when he finally got his hands on Truth Behind the Smile, which was the first one I sent him and talked to him about, he said, yes, I'm going to direct that one. And his name is Jeremiah Kipp, and that's with Kipp Films. And that's my serial killer feature film.
Okay. So, Edward, Flesh of My Flesh took a long time to get made, didn't it?
It did, yes.
Okay.
We're not going to do that again.
Okay, so here's my question. How has that experience helped in getting you through the film process faster? Because it seems like you're moving quicker through them now.
Yeah, it's been a big bolus, a big chunk, and it's always been a thing that I've wanted to be able to do quickly. My attention span is such that I need to focus on something, throw myself at it, get it done, and move it on out.
Okay.
But Flesh of My Flesh just got bogged down by 90 million different things, and I decided that I cannot allow that to happen.
So it's a good thing Amber came along to help you get through some of that.
And he also tries to do, I think, too much, all of it himself, editing and
well,
sound
he likes doing. He likes doing
it. But we can also delegate that out to the other people.
There's a lot in Flesh of My Flesh I would have been happy to delegate out.
Okay, right, but you got to get it done. So anyway, when it comes to working with actors, how do you work with actors as a director? Do you just say let them fly with it, or do you actually stop them and say, hey, I'd like to see it done a little differently? I'm
very much closer, so working with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Because I see the frame really carefully and everything. I'm going to be really meticulous, probably.
Okay, and Edwards, you're a little looser with that, aren't you?
I like to know what the actors are taking. I mean, I like to know what takes them in the story, where they want to go with it. It's my preference that we're all happy on set, because if we're all happy and we're all kind of in the same direction, that's great. So yeah, I have enjoyed very much working with comics, people who had stand-up background, because they have great timing, and often their timing is better than I expected. So I always get surprised. I mean, I shouldn't get surprised. They know what they're doing, right? And that's like the best part, if I can. But I like doing that. Okay. Find out what's the actor taking out of this, what do they want to do, and if something does feel a little weird, I'll ask them about it and we'll talk about it.
Amber, you're looking for help in areas, is that right? Is there,
okay. For Cascadia Creatures, I'm looking for different positions.
Okay. You can talk to the camera, and can you put up her little subtitle for Cascadia Pictures? Tell them what you're looking for.
So for Cascadia Creatures...
we'll look at camera 3.
Yeah. So
that is camera 3. Go ahead.
Okay. So for Cascadia Creatures, I'm looking for metals people for creature design and making storyboarders.
That's okay. We'll think about. We'll come back to it. So anyway, what are your weaknesses as a filmmaker, Amber?
What are
Edward told us his. He likes to do it all.
I can't- what did he say? What are my? Oh,
No,
yeah.
no, he
That
didn't ask me
you're
what your
right. That
weaknesses
he
were.
like. That he like. Yeah. That
I
he
have my
likes to
own
do
weaknesses.
everything.
What did he say? Yeah, you're gonna steal his, right?
My weakness is that I let you steal my weaknesses.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
your weakness is that you steal other filmmakers' weaknesses.
Is that right? Okay, is
I
that
just
it?
suck the
No.
power
What's your
out.
big strength then?
My my big strength for directing.
Or for filmmaking?
Oh, for filmmaking, I'm literally the MacGyver on set. I will anything that breaks or anything that we need
Oh, really?
behind the scene. I will do.
Do you carry a tool belt?
I do. Yes, I have a very fancy Yeah, I do. I actually.
Oh, it's
kind
fancy,
of
though.
fancy though. It's
Okay.
girly.
All right.
But
Well, that's
inside
good.
of it is everything, and I can MacGyver anything. Yeah.
Okay, so what is Edward, what's your favorite part of filmmaking?
I don't know. I'm still thinking about the MacGyvering because there isn't
Oh,
a
yeah,
film
you
set
MacGyver.
that I'm on where I don't have a multi-tool
Yeah.
handy.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to get one now, right?
No, I have
No,
one.
he does it
There,
too.
there is not a
Yeah,
single
that's
film
why
set
we're
I'm
very
on that I don't have
complimentary to
one
each other.
strapped to my body somewhere.
Oh, okay, right, just in case, right? So,
never know.
what is your favorite part of filmmaking, Amber?
Everything.
Right?
Yeah, but why?
Why? What do I like about filmmaking?
Oh, yeah.
I love the telling of stories. I love the, I'm very meticulous, like I said, in the framing and all of that. So everything from sound set to the colors and being able to tell that in a particular way,
Okay.
I absolutely adore.
Okay, so this is for both of you because you both write. When you write together, how do you do that? Do you sit together and write it, or do you write a piece and then send it to him and he adds a chunk and his thoughts and stuff?
Mostly verbally bouncing it back and forth until we
Okay.
have written,
Yeah.
and then we will bounce the little scripts back and forth. So what do you think of this? So what do you think of that? When we're doing that, we did that with The Dead.
Yeah.
I think, you received all the little tiny scriptlets, and then for Bone Cold, I'm currently on that script now and fiddling with it, and I intend to say, well, here's my thoughts. What do you think? And
So do you put notes right in it? Do you use like a Final Draft or
I use Screenwriter 6 for that.
right, Movie Magic?
Yeah, Movie
Me too.
Magic. Yeah, I do too. I prefer that
So you just
over-
put notes in there.
I use a pen.
He does, yeah. I had to sort of pull him off of Word because we were sending our scripts out to other directors, and the directors kept coming back and saying, "Do you have this on Screenwriter or Final Draft?" So I finally got him a copy of
So
Screenwriter.
Edward, real quick, you also put on a summer program, isn't that right, for actors or screenwriters?
We put on a whole filmmaking workshop.
Right.
We do it every Easter weekend up in SeaTac.
Okay, and so that's coming up. Can you put up that his subtitles so that people can see it in case they want to get a hold of him to be involved and get a film made?
Yeah, if you're
and you help out with that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we're running out of time here at Portland Film Beat. I want to thank Amber and Edward for showing up, and I also want to thank my director, Ellery Nelson. My wife was the producer, Carol Poland. I want to thank Krista, all the people down here at TVC TV, and I also want to thank all the people down at PCM TV for all the help they give me. And until next time on Portland Film Beat, shoot for the silver screen.
Thank you for having us.